chicken nuggets. It's me, Carl.
And I'm Andy.
Welcome to Grow TV.
Welcome to Grow TV. Hosted by Carl. Where we have fun with our friends, talk about Jesus, and go over everything the Bible has to offer. Now once again, welcome to Grow TV.
What's up, Carl?
Oh, the usual, just living my life, busy as a bee. You know, if that bee had a full-time job and had beautiful, luscious locks. What about you, Andy? Big plans for the weekend?
I was actually gonna ask for your help because there's this big summer parade coming up and I was gonna...
A parade? Andy, you know how much I love parades.
I do?
Of course, you silly bald man. Parades are like a fancy buffet of entertainment on wheels.
So you'll help me?
Of course, what do you need? Someone flexible? Charismatic? A singer?
Well, I need someone strong.
Excuse me?
Strong. You know in parades when they have those giant big balloons floating around?
Oh yeah.
Well, I just need one more person to hold onto the rope so they don't fly away.
Well, you came to the right guy, Andy. By that time, I'll be the strongest guy around.
How's that? I've seen you break a sweat lifting up an Oreo.
In my defense, they were double stuffed Oreos, okay? Plus, I got a drink that makes me really strong.
That really works?
Well, of course, look at this.
How does that prove that it actually worked and you're actually strong?
Ye've little faith. Observe.
That thing isn't even real. Let me see. See, right, watch. Easier than it looks.
Told you so. Jada!
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Pretty good. I was just telling Andy how strong I am.
Wow, is that true, Andy? Is he really strong?
Apparently.
That's great because today's story has something to do with someone who was also very strong.
Are you talking about my cousin Brock?
Nope.
I was curious because he did watch the end of Avengers like 4 times and didn't cry at all. He's super strong.
Nope. But I was talking about Samson.
Of course, I love the story of Samson. Do you remember that story, right, Andy?
You may have to jog my memory.
All right, well, this story is in Judges 16. Now, when Samson was born, his parents promised to God that their son would commit to the Nazirite vow.
Which was a promise to God, and it also meant that Samson was never supposed to cut his hair.
Carl, you didn't take the Nazirite vow, did you?
Contrary to popular belief, I have not.
So back to what you said before. Samson was really strong?
Like crazy strong, like the strongest man on the planet.
How? Did he work out a lot?
Well, it was a strength given to him by God. And as long as Samson kept the Nazirite vow and didn't cut his hair, he would have that strength.
So Samson was a good guy that always followed and listened to God?
Well, like anybody, Samson made mistakes, and he made enemies with a group of people called the Philistines.
Well, they all wanted to find out where Samson's power came from, so they went to the woman that Samson was in love with.
Delilah?
Yes, look at you, starting to remember things.
They offered money to Delilah, and in return, she would tell them how Samson got his strength.
Well, that's mean.
It was, but Samson was smart. When asked where he got his strength, he tricked Delilah 3 times.
Yep, he wouldn't tell her the truth, but eventually she got upset. She's like, you keep lying to me, like how can you love me if you don't tell me the truth?
Yikes, well what did Samson do?
He finally gave in and told her the truth. And when Samson fell asleep, she cut off all his hair.
Then the Philistines came in and took Samson to be their prisoner.
Oh, that's awful. He messed up big time.
He sure did. They took him in and placed him against the pillars of the building the Philistines were in.
And then, can you guess what Samson did next, Andy?
Did he pray?
He did pray. He cried out to God. And he asked for mercy and help to fight the Philistines now that his strength was gone.
And it happened, right?
It sure did. Even though Samson had broken rules and made mistakes, God had mercy on Samson.
And that's exactly what God will do for us. Because I know more than anyone, I've made plenty of mistakes.
Me too, and I know I'm gonna make a whole lot more mistakes in the future. But do you really think that God's gonna forgive us and help us learn from our mistakes?
Of course, that's one of my favorite things that I've been taught. God helps me learn from my mistakes.
Jada, that's our big idea! Today's big idea is God helps me learn from my mistakes.
So let's say it out loud on the count of 3. 1,
2.
3. God helps me learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've made plenty of them, but not as much as Andy.
What?
Jada hasn't, because she's pretty much perfect. So Andy, before we head over to get ready for the parade, you want to grab some tacos?
I don't like tacos.
Hey Andy, can you try to hit this against your head again?
Sure. Hey, you up for some tacos?
You read my mind. See you next week, kids.
Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for a new episode of Bro TV.